Yeah, we are back. MMA After Hour time. No time to waste. So many questions to answer. Have you been enjoying the World Series? That's my first question. The problem with the World Series, by the way, the games are starting so freaking late. And they're not really starting late. They're starting at like 8:20, but that's too late because the games last so long. And that's fine. I have no problem with the length of baseball games. I just wish they'd start a little earlier so I could watch the entire thing. I get very tired, you know. Yesterday I was preoccupied though. And this is when I'll bring in Mr. New York Rick, and this is when he should ask me, why were you preoccupied?
Ariel, let me ask you something. Why were you preoccupied?
I was watching the New York Knicks beat down on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I know that the hipster thing to do is be like, oh, it's October, I don't really care. But you have to admit, it's somewhat embarrassing to lose to the lowly Knicks, you know, the mellow-less Knicks. What do you have to say for yourself? Come on, say something.
I don't even know what you're
talking about. Beat them down. Oh, you're going the Colby Covington route. Just completely dismissing it.
Tell me what you're talking about.
Beat them down. What a win for the Knicks. Going for 3 in a row tonight against Denver Nuggets. But that's neither here nor there. We have a lot of things to discuss.
It? Yeah. Damn, I expected you to go a lot harder than that.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
You are really sick if that's all you got for the Knicks. Couldn't care less. The Cavs are playing for the playoffs. The Knicks are playing for the lottery.
All right, we'll see about that come April. I guarantee we'll have a better record.
I'll say this. I would not have bet on the Knicks coming into that one. So well done. Unicorn Kristaps Porzingis played very well. You'll recall, before the season was more hopeful about the Knicks than you were. I thought they could compete.
Whatever. I was just trying to do the reverse psychology thing.
You're reverse jinxing it, right?
Yeah.
You got it.
John Anik style.
Well, you know what? You just soiled that. You just destroyed that. So down go the Knicks.
It was not going to last.
Let's be real. Anybody you root for is doomed. So that's kind of been
right. We'll see. We'll see about that. This is our year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
You heard it.
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I'm impressed. It feels like a new era. Okay. We're going to start this the way we always start this. Question of the week.
Yes.
From Ariel Helwani. Compare your excitement for the MSG shows, UFC 205 versus UFC 217. This time last year, because it was roughly the same time, were you...
And what I meant by that was beginning of fight week, like the Monday of fight week.
Yep.
Some people said I worded this poorly. I don't know. Maybe I could.
What do you mean? Well,
I don't know. I was like...
What's the issue with it?
I don't know. I worded it. I thought it was fine. But people were like, oh, it doesn't make sense. What are you talking about? Compare your excitement level this time, the Monday of fight week. Going into 205, going into 217. Were you more excited for the card last year, or are you more excited for this card? I don't know.
I don't know what the confusion would be, but point being.
Okay. What's the answer?
6,000 votes later.
Yeah.
53% are more excited for UFC 217. 47. Wow. I'm sorry. Less excited. I'm sorry. 53% are less excited. 47% more excited.
By the way.
Now, you could have said you didn't give option for a push, which would have been nice, because I think that could have been.
You mean samesies?
Yeah, samesies.
Yeah.
I'm just as excited. Something to that.
Fair enough.
But people's less excited, 53%. So a little over 3,000 people less excited for 217.
I will say, though, I'm kind of surprised. I thought it would be more in favor of 205.
I'm not.
Really?
I said it last week. I think 217 is the better card. And I think, you are losing the magic of Conor and going for those 2 titles, but I think top to bottom, this is a better card. And the fans who follow you are going to be the hardcores. They're going to be the hardcores that know this card.
I like to call them the smarts.
The smarts?
Yeah, they're just the smart fans.
Is this like a take of the smarks from wrestling culture?
No.
This is terrible. Smarts? No, we can't do that.
They're just the smart fans.
Come up with something better, please.
The Helwani Nation.
There we go. 100 times better.
Yes.
The Helwanabes have weighed in and a little bit on the favor of less excited. I would say if you gave the push option, I think most people would be there. I'm just as excited about 217 as I am about 205. Not significantly more, not significantly less. I think, it's a big card and it's a big card in a big city. So I'm excited about it. Okay, moving right along. First question from Luke. Do you guys think that Colby Covington was influenced by his TNA friends to play this role? Essentially, do you think this is a wrestling-based gimmick? Do you think this comes from the wrestling world?
Yes, but I don't think it's because of TNA. I think he was a wrestling guy long before TNA. And I think he's just stealing a playbook that has been used a billion times in territories all over the world and in promotions all over the world. Not just in pro wrestling, but it's so cartoonish that it reminds us of pro wrestling.
And that's what I was kind of alluding to earlier when we were talking about it on Rick's Picks. Like, it's transparent. He's playing by he's utilizing a playbook that's already been utilized.
And that's okay. If it's entertaining and it sells and there's a hook, cool, because that's what Chael was doing too, and we all loved it.
Yeah, no issue with that part of it, and I think he's doing it smartly and rightly. The people who are upset that he's being offensive, I'm not the one who's going to tell you not to be offended. People are going to be offended by what they're being. But you should be able to see through this. You should be able to see what is happening here. And so we're going to ask about this. Should more fighters be doing this? This is from Baju. Should more fighters embrace this heel persona like Colby Covington? Throwing out the name John Jones, potentially doing the same. I think we're a long ways away from that, talking about that. But should more fighters be following this game plan?
No, I mean...
Or is there kind of a limit to this? Do you want one fighter kind of doing it at one time before it gets stale?
I don't like when we try to say people should play the heel, but no. There's an interesting thing happening here with Colby because Tyron is a team member, quote unquote, and he's going after him and they have a history and they've trained together. So that's their little story. But you can't say oh, hey, Emil Mack, you should be a bad guy too.
Right.
Everyone needs their own little story. Chael had a story that he created with Anderson and that got people hooked. Conor had a story that he created with Aldo and that got people hooked.
Yep.
The great feuds have stories and then we decide and they kind of decide for themselves who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Sometimes there's a gray area, but you can't just be like a bad guy. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way.
Chael did it.
No, but he did it with Anderson. That's what it started.
Then after he was just
but then he just ran with it because why would he not? But then he became like the good bad guy, right? I mean, then he called himself the bad guy, and then he was like the lovable bad guy, and he doesn't really even play it. Now, I mean, sometimes he plays it, and he flips the script like when he's at MSG, and he called... By the way, Chael Sonnen called MSG a dump. Remember? Like at MSG.
And somebody tweeted me to say I'm xenophobic for excusing Colby Covington's behavior.
What about that?
I would have the same reaction if Colby walked into MSG. He
literally said the same thing about MSG. I was standing right there. He said, this place is a dump.
Yeah.
So what? That's...
If he called us all filthy animals sitting inside the garden, I'd have the same reaction.
Now, if
he's playing it right.
He starts getting specific about a certain type of people, race, culture, then it gets a little different. This is playground stuff,
And working it to great effect. These people are riled up.
Look at that.
Jimmys are rustled, and he's fighting.
Did you see? And now he has Usman calling him out and all these. Did you see that crowd on Saturday?
Well, Usman is smartly riding that wave now to do this. I don't think it has anything to do with Brazil. He doesn't have to defend Brazil or anybody who's upset about this. Look, Colby Covington is the guy of the hour right now. So it's time to.
And by the way, Covington's playing it perfectly. He should have said no.
And he did. Yeah. He did it right. And you know what? He cut a promo on Woodley right as he said no. He's focused. He knows what he's doing. The man is smart. Yeah. The man is smart. Okay. I think I know your answer to this and my answer to this from Derek. Should Colby be suspended? No. They did mention reviewing his comments and then we saw the apology, the quote unquote apology right after that.
No suspension, no nothing. What they should be doing is talking about that St. Louis idea. That's what they should be doing.
Yeah. From Poilu, would MMA culture from 5 years ago survive in today's world? I think, we were dealing with quite a different entity. There was a little more roughness around the edges. Could it have taken off now?
So if I say, I know exactly how this will play out. If I say we need to stop trying to PC MMA, people will be like, wait, aren't you the guy who said...
The violence thing.
Right. But again, I will reiterate, all I was saying was if I'm a promoter, I'm not the one throwing that word out. It's different from our perspective and from their perspective, right? And it's different from the fans' perspective as well. Sometimes, as media, as members of the MMA community, we're like, this is too much. And I think we have to remember what this is, what we are watching, what we are involved with. Nothing bad, nothing dirty, but we are involved with fighting. This is fighting. This is two men or women fighting in a cage barefoot. It's not basketball. It's not baseball. And so there's certain rules that apply to this sport that don't apply to those sport and vice versa. And so I don't know if it would fly in that world or this world or whatever, but I just think like I say this a thousand times, like all's fair in love and fight promotion. And Yoanna saying to Rose in her face, you're mentally unstable. That's fair. You know, that is fair. That's fight promotion. You know what I mean? There are lines, but there's not like a clear line. Like, you know, again, using slurs, that stuff is, you could get your point across in different ways, as we said last week. And yeah, like let's say your opponent's mom just died 2 days ago. Like imagine Cormier went up to Jones and is like, yeah, your mom, you know, something about her being in the grave. Like that's just in poor taste.
Yeah.
But this, at the end of the day, it's psychological warfare. And you are literally getting into a cage with another human being and they're trying to hurt you. They are trying to damage you. They're trying to get money off of you. And so again, as I've said a million times on this program and other programs, all's fair in love and fight promotion. That's what I believe.
I don't disagree with you. I'd almost go so far as to say your example, like if that's what you need to get into the opponent's head, I'd go there too. Like they're about to get locked into a cage to fight. Any mental edge they can get,
yeah, I'm
kind of for it. Now, there's universal things that you can't do. You know, there's universal no-no buttons. And if you hit one of those, then it's time to apologize. But I think there's the line is going to vary for everybody. So there's nobody who's going to please everybody or stay on the right side of everything. And when they're trying to push the envelope, and we just have to, police that in whatever way is appropriate. Okay. With the history.
By the way, one of the things I love so much about the fight game and the fighters involved is that it's not so PC. Like this show would be I was watching the Knicks post game. I was like, you're not saying anything. There's no personality.
Yeah.
And the questions suck. And they don't know like they ask the worst questions. I will say the players don't get put in the right kind of position to let their personality show. I was talking to a fighter who, I won't get too detailed, but he was talking about like the difference between fighters and athletes. And athletes are kind of programmed to not say anything so that they don't get in trouble, right? Just like stick by the rules. You'll get your multi-million-dollar check. You'll get your endorsements. Like the more clean cut you are, the better. Oh, Kevin Durant doesn't have any tattoos on his arm. Great. We love that. Remember when like that was a big thing? People celebrated that. In the fight game, the more colorful and crazy and outlandish you are, the better, right?
Yeah, there's a reward for being outlandish in our sport.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's completely contrary to the Derek Jeter A-Rod can answer in front of a press conference thing. And if we want to lose that, there is a way to do that.
No, I don't want to lose that.
I would rather have that, alive and well. With Darren Till's history of living in Brazil, how do you feel about Till versus Covington as a matchup if Woodley isn't next for Colby?
Still want to see Till versus Perry first.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see Woodley, Covington, and Till
all
Perry.
These matchups. I want to see Covington, Usman, Till, Usman, Till, Covington.
Welterweight is exciting, huh?
It's the best.
Welterweight's
the best.
Yeah. A finish over Machida. Is it time for a top 5 opponent for Derek Brunson?
Yes.
He asked you directly, were you impressed by this performance? Yes. And you said, yeah.
Yes.
And I am too. I think, Brunson is obviously somebody who, when you nitpick and when you really break it down, there are, deficiencies and holes that you can find in his game, but that's the same of every other fighter. The resume speaks. What he's done recently is knock out some top fighters. And I think it's time for him to get that shot. I think Brunson deserves it.
By the way, was Darren Till in the control room while Perry was on?
Darren Till was sitting right next to me, laughing at everything Mike Perry said.
I wish we cut to him. What was he saying? Was he getting fired up or was he just laughing?
Just laughing, just enjoying every moment of it. When
what was that like watching Perry talk about
Tetra shots? I think that was the highlight of the.
It was amazing
of the time. No, he was just laughing and responding, and I think that look, they both know what they've got there. They both know what magic could happen between those two. Okay. What records, if any, will UFC 217 break? Do you see this being a record-setting card? UFC 205 was a record-setting card. Do you see this one eclipsing any records? Do you see this one coming close to breaking any records? How do you think this fares from a historical perspective?
I meant to put out this poll as well. I meant to have a a double poll this week too.
Yeah, you're
but I forgot.
really pushing it with these two
To
polls
me,
here.
and I know people hate this, but like I would have said, what do you think? 500 or less, 500K or less pay-per-view, 501 to 750, 751 to $1 million, or then $1 million or above. Like I have no idea where this is going to fall. Right now, gun to my head, I say 5 to 6 range, which isn't great, but this year it's great. It would be number 2 this year. MMA pay-per-views. What do you think? I don't have a read on this one at all. I really don't.
I don't think it'll break any records, that's for sure.
No, records, get out of here. But GSP is going to ESPN tomorrow to do like the car wash.
Yep.
Will that resonate? I don't know. It's a phenomenal card. I just don't know what it's going to do. I really don't. You know, there's no baseball anymore come Saturday. There's football.
There's plenty of football.
I just don't know. What do you think? Does it do over $1 million?
No.
Does it do under 500,000?
No.
Does it do 750?
I think that's probably the sweet spot right around there.
I think 600, 5
Maybe.
to 6.
I could see that.
I don't think that's what they were hoping for when they signed GSP again.
How about this? Well, I mean, look, you don't put him in New York. You put him in Canada.
Yeah, but that's not a pay-per-view thing. It doesn't matter where he is on pay-per-view, right?
No, it does. To me, it does. I think the cities matter to me.
If you found out,
it's not from a perspective of, look, I'm watching every card, right? But for the person who is kind of just tuning into this, it matters more to hear the greatest champion in history, supported by the nation of Canada, is returning home and he's facing his toughest challenge. That matters in the promotion to me more so than they're doing it on the bright lights of
it is freaking MSG number 2.
It is
pretty damn cool.
Look, MSG doesn't mean that much to people outside of the city. I'm sure you believe it does. It's not that important.
So you think him fighting in Montreal would have generated more?
Now, in terms of pay-per-view, slightly more. But I think the storyline surrounding it becomes bigger. The gravitational pull of that becomes bigger. Is my opinion. What is this weekend's people's main event from our friend Steve?
Who's attending?
Who's going to be here?
Well, I did the poll, so you can't deny the people, right? The people voted unanimously in favor of.
Is that what you are most highly anticipating?
I mean, it's hard to actually.
You're gonna say something cliche like picking children or something? What are you gonna tell me
those
here?
top 3 fights. I mean, it's GSP. Come on. I mean, it's the pride of Montreal.
So that's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, fair enough. For me, Cody and TJ is the one.
But I mean that is just money. I mean that rivalry, everything about it.
We had
those 2 fights. I can't get enough of them.
We had Chris Holdsworth on to add even more to this story. There's nothing that tops that one for me. As much as I love the other 2 title fights, and to be honest, the rest of the card. How about when we were talking about, what were we talking about? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
What?
I was going to go back to another people's main event we were talking about. You're criticizing the Vicente Luque fight. You're talking about, who cares?
Right.
Turned out to
Vicente killing it now.
Turned out to be fantastic.
Great win on Saturday.
I mean, look, I was talking about 205, talking about how that fight was great, and I was anticipating Vicente Luque at 205, and you're like, but shout out to Vicente. Great win there. Okay. GSP, the betting favorite. Do you find that odd after the long layoff, or do you think that
is he?
That's appropriate?
You're the guy. You're the betting guy.
Yeah. Do I think? Well, first let's verify this.
I mean,
let's see exactly what the line is. So, I've got it at the moment. 5 Dimes a betting book has it at even money. So
then the question is
not a favorite, but I'm surprised it's at even money. To be honest,
here's what I'm surprised about. Everyone dismissing. Like you hear who was just on saying like, oh yeah, Bisping's gonna steamroll through GSP. Cody said to Bisping, he's like, yeah, that's the easy fight. Like is anyone going out publicly and saying GSP is going to win this fight? It's GSP. He's like maybe one of the smartest fighters of all time. Like his fight IQ is unmatched. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I love that fight too. I like now that it's here on paper, who the hell knows what's going to happen in that fight?
Yeah, I find it hard to.
Who's the favorite in the Cody fight? Cody?
Yes, and I will tell you exactly how much. I find it hard to know one way or the other with GSP. It's been too long. Cody minus 175, TJ plus 155, so less than 2-1. Unsurprisingly, the champ gets the edge there. Our next question from Dan: if Bisping beats GSP at 217, where does he rank among the greats of the sport? How about this? Let's pivot to this. How much would it do for his legacy to beat George St. Pierre at this point in his career?
People are always going to find things to nitpick about, but I do think it will be a nice feather in his cap when it's all said and done that he beat Anderson and GSP, and he's the only
to be the man to beat Anderson and GSP is
it's
big.
Nice.
And you look at,
I think it will help him, in the hardcore fans' eyes if he then beats Whitaker, whatever. Freaking Michael Bisping, are you kidding me? He's one of the most underappreciated fighters in UFC history. Like the fact that he has turned into the butt of a joke in some people's eyes. What are you talking about? The guy's literally fighting with one eye. He's literally fighting with one eye now. You know what I mean? He's literally like what he did against Anderson in that fight, coming back from essentially a knockout right at the buzzer or a second. I mean, it's unbelievable. Beating Luke Rockhold. Let's not forget who Luke Rockhold is on 2 weeks' notice. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the greats. There's no denying it.
By far. And I think that would have been true even without the championship, greats. But that really pushes it.
Oh, no, the championship helped. I mean, doing what he did to Rockhold was great.
Yeah, of course. I think he's one of the greats without that. His career is one you want. His is a career that you could look back on and be proud of. Adding the belt to that mix and potentially, we'll see how he does against George, but beating Anderson, there's no doubt about it that he goes down as one of the all-time greats. What did you mean by the butt of the joke, though?
I
truly
see people, joking that, Bisping ducking this guy, that guy. This is the worst champion in UFC history, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, stop. Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But that's.
Oh, you don't see that
shameful.
all day on Twitter? All day people are making, he doesn't get his due.
I saw the ducking stuff when it came to Romero.
He's not the real champion.
There was a lot of that.
Nah, come on.
That's pathetic. Come on. If GSP wins and then goes out to defend against Whitaker, what's after that? Who are some of the other contenders? Or does he stick around in this division?
Jeez, we're gonna jump over 2 fights now?
Well, does he stay around at middleweight?
I mean, this is a crap question, if I'm being honest.
Damn, Jordan.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna skip over 2 fights. Look how much could happen. No, get out of here with that. I'm not doing that.
Okay, sorry, Jordan.
No way.
Ariel's vetoing this one.
Crap question.
Peter.
Yes.
Does GSP's popularity decline? Let's call it decline in popularity, highlight an issue with the UFC's ability to retain fans, or is this normal considering his absence? Essentially, are we surprised by how few people are still familiar with GSP?
I am surprised, or I was surprised, at how not excited people were for his return, and I think the reason for that is twofold. A, there's just a lot of new fans in the last 4 years because of Conor and Ronda who didn't watch him. And B, I just think that they botched his return. They didn't make it into a big deal. His return was essentially Dana White showing up on SportsCenter and being like, yeah, GSP's back against Bisping, and then we're going to have this press conference. We don't know when the fight is. And the press conference was kind of silly and Bisping, that's not the way you... remember the infamous UFC 200 promo that they had with Brock at the end? Can you see me now? That's whoa, he's back. That's not this didn't feel special.
Now,
and I'm not comparing Brock and GSP, but I just felt like a little more could have been done.
Fair, but you would expect at a certain level that GSP has achieved that might be the
I think it's
icing on the
crazy.
cake.
I mean, look, if Wayne Gretzky, when Mario Lemieux took time off because of cancer and then came back a few years later, I don't think it was quite 4, but if it would have been 4, it would have been a gigantic deal. And by the way, this is a very big deal in Canada. No one has forgotten GSP in Canada.
And that's, that talks to what I was saying. That's where you put that. But anyway,
it just so happens that there's online in our bubble, there's a lot of new fans.
I'm surprised.
And that's why maybe we're not listening to the other fans. Maybe this is going to do 900,000.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I am surprised.
Everyone knows GSP.
Jordan just sent in the facts. He just said, yo, I'm back. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
We're in the 4-5.
It's an interesting thing about I was talking to someone about that. And I know you can't necessarily compare the two, but people need to stop focusing on like, oh, he shouldn't be fighting for the belt. Oh, the matchup against Bisping is a fake one, whatever. Like, again, as I've been saying from day one, GSP coming back to me is a big deal. And when Jordan sent the fax in and said, I'm back, no one was nitpicking like, oh, you're coming back on a Sunday afternoon against the Pacers? Oh, man, you should be coming back against the Magic or the Knicks. No, like
it's a little bit different.
I'm just saying,
yeah,
the fact that he was back was the story.
That's the story.
GSP coming back, that's the story. And it just so happens that he's trying to make history.
Has Cody Garbrandt in this case from Will, done enough to start chasing money fights? Essentially, has Cody done enough in this division to be chasing outside? He's talked about Demetrius quite a bit.
If Cody wins, I'd like to see him fight the winner of Dominic Jimmy. If there's an opportunity there, if someone's injured and the DJ thing emerges, that's cool too. But I feel like he has two options, right? It's either that fight or that fight. The DJ fight or I wouldn't dismiss Dominic Jimmy, especially if Jimmy wins. I think he really deserves it. Jimmy Rivera, that is.
I have to admit, I do want to see him fight a few more bantamweights.
Yeah, Jimmy Rivera would be great.
Yeah, but beyond that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, you could say that about any
winning, winning the belt, one defense, and then jumping to another division always, feels a little weird for me.
That's fair.
If Yoanna from Kayla, if Yoanna ties Ronda's record on Saturday, how do their legacies differ? And if she loses, is Ronda still held in high regard? Here's a question: Where do you see them legacy wise? Is Yoanna the best female fighter? Is Ronda still holding onto that throne?
I think Ronda still has it, at least up until Saturday, and even if she wins, they'd be tied. Ronda fought tough competition. I think people like to pretend that she didn't.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, she fought tough competition, and for the most part, like she was in no wars, right? She didn't go 5 rounds with any of these people. Yoanna is different weight classes, I know, and it's all different. But no, I still think that Ronda deserves a lot of that credit until like Yoanna goes maybe 6, 7, 8 deep. But yeah, Ronda to me is still.
I think Ronda's legacy is still firm
for sure.
Okay, Khabib is fighting Barbosa, and that seems to be pointing in the direction of where the lightweight strap will end up. Do we have any word on Ferguson versus McGregor?
I already addressed this. What are you talking about? We talked about this.
Yeah, I select these ahead of time.
I know, but you can't delete them. Like you can't be like,
not on the fly.
Well, you can't be like, oh, he talked about this one. I already picked it.
Maybe this is the after hour exclusive for other people.
Yeah,
maybe you could,
you know what?
Give a sentence or two.
Maybe 5 hours and 7 minutes in. I don't feel like repeating myself. All right, how about that?
Ferguson versus McGregor. No comment from Ariel.
I mean, been there, done that. Scroll back.
With the success, they can't. This is exclusive.
Oh yeah.
With the success of Anthony Joshua.
Yes.
And KSW doing stadium shows. Would you like to see the U.S. MMA promotions do one, and where?
But the key is you got to have the right fights, right? Like you don't bring, they're not doing Anthony Joshua in Poland, which I don't know, it might do well in Poland, but like he's in the UK.
So what is it? What is this perfect storm?
GSP in Montreal. GSP at the Big O in Montreal would have been great. GSP at the Rogers Centre in Toronto would have been easy. Obviously, Connor in Croke Park would have been great.
Anything they could do in a U.S. stadium.
Oh, U.S. Sorry.
No. This was asking about U.S. promotions. These are all financiers. I'm asking you a different question, which is, could any of them be done in the U.S.? Is there a potential for that?
I think Connor is the only one.
In Dallas, where would you do it? How do you do that?
Dallas. I don't know if I would do it in Dallas.
Where do you do it? And who's the opponent?
Diaz would have to be the biggest, mass appeal one. I don't know.
I guess it doesn't matter at that point, right?
Giant
if you're doing,
Stadium?
You could do it.
In
New
the
York?
Summertime? Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, technically,
is it even
New Jersey.
called? Is it even
MetLife
called?
Stadium?
Yeah.
Fenway Park. Imagine that.
Boston. Get the Irish out.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's the one.
By the way, speaking of Boston, Brett Okamoto reporting that they're going to Boston for pay-per-view on January 20th. I've confirmed this as well. You know what's interesting about that?
What is interesting about
That's the same night as Rory versus Douglas Lima. So Bellator having a great welterweight title fight on Spike, UFC going up against him on pay-per-view. That's going to be fascinating.
In Boston.
In Boston. Interesting.
How poor does pay-per-view performance have to be before the UFC changes the business model? How is this influenced by the new TV deal? Or maybe the question is, how is this going to influence?
Yeah, it's still up in the air. Dana talked last week about, Amazon. Everyone loves Amazon. Everyone wants to be on Amazon. We've talked about this. Basically, it's all in play. The number of pay-per-views, the number of shows, everything's in play because Fox bought X amount, and that's what they went with, and that's what they can't change until next year, but it's all in play. So we'll see. Hopefully they've looked at the data of the last couple of years and realized that too much of a certain thing isn't necessarily a good thing long-term for the product.
Pretty much just address this. Where is the best fit for the new home and TV deal for the UFC? TBD. There's a lot of suitors out there.
Look, maybe it's a couple of most sports entities are on
multiple networks. Yeah.
ESPN, TNT, Fox, whatever the case may be. Do they want to go with the future? And I wouldn't go exclusively online. I think you do have to have a presence. But yeah, I think it's all in play.
What is the dream way to end the year? 3 fights for UFC 219.
Dream?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it ends with Conor and against anyone. Doesn't really matter.
Let's go Conor Nate.
Let's go Conor Tony.
Oh,
I mean, just so that he, that seems to be the fight people want. That's what the impression I'm getting. Let's
and then
Cyborg home.
Oh, I like that too.
I don't really love the 3 title fight thing. I think it's like the roster.
Barboza's already on it. That's a damn good one.
Fair enough. There it is.
With that,
that'd be nice. That'd be real nice.
You find a way to get Till and Mike Perry on there.
I don't know about that if he's fighting December 16th, but that would be awesome too.
What do you think of Road FC taking a point off for a fighter missing weight?
Dang.
Directly affecting the competition if you miss weight.
But is that the only thing they're taking away, or are they also taking away? I believe
there's probably a financial penalty. But how do you feel about that as a potential future measure? If you miss weight, you will be penalized in the fight.
I don't think
you can still win by knockout.
Honestly, I don't. Let's just say it's just. This is the question. Taking a point, I don't think it's enough because, you're still coming in there heavy. Like I think you need to hit someone in the pocket.
Sure.
So I don't think it's enough.
Joe Daddy, I forget. Did you say you saw the baseball game or you didn't see the baseball game? Did you stay up for it?
I couldn't stay up. No.
I was gonna. So from Joe Daddy, he said, "Can you compare anything in MMA to last night's Sterling Game 5?" But we didn't.
I mean, I know what happened. It was incredible. It's one of the greatest games in World Series history. This series has been one of the greatest. I mean, you don't have to really. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch there, Joe. I know you're excited because the Astros are winning, and I wouldn't, I wouldn't bury the Dodgers just yet. But you got to go the opposite way. Every time they keep talking about this, they keep comparing it to a heavyweight title fight. You know what I mean? Like anytime there's a quote unquote slugfest in sports and it goes back and forth, they compare it to a heavyweight title fight. And that's a great compliment to, the sweet science. And so we can lump ourselves in there as well. Like when there's a great sporting competition 7-game series, they say, this is a heavyweight slugfest. They're going back and forth. So I think that you need to kind of embrace the opposite way.
Okay, quick hitters.
Yeah, last one. Yes, we've already addressed this.
Can't do this one.
That's a great one.
That's the last one. When will you stop interrupting my intro?
Never.
Yeah.
Get your own damn show if you want it to be uninterrupted.
Is that a LeBron James thing?
Yeah.
What's in your yellow drink?
So today,
Brandon wants to know.
Yeah. Today I was too lazy to take off the tag. It's Honest Tea. There you go. There you have it. Once and for all. Honest Tea. Orange. Away for free. Mango flavor.
Dunkin' Donuts, Honest Tea.
Oh, man, you know what? I really wanted one of those donuts, too. They looked so good. The Halloween flavors, like the orange and the black. Today, I also had Joe's Pink Lemonade. I mean, we got it all here today.
Ugh.
If I had to dress up as a fighter, who would it be?
Yeah, you're dressing up as a fighter. Who would it be?
Would
Which costume?
Platinum Perry.
The rooster.
Going with the tattoo above the... Platinum Perry got love, man.
He does.
Got love for me, I got love for him.
Reebok is giving us 3 of the UFC 217 hoodies.
Oh, I don't even know this.
Yeah, this is me doing the work behind the scenes here.
Cool. How much am I getting paid for this?
Honest Tea and Dunkin' Donuts, whatever they gave us, we're getting the same. I am going to select 3 questions. I'm going to pick Brandon on asking what's in the drink.
Definitely pick that one about like what would happen if GSP beats the next 8 guys and then move
Jason,
down to...
I apologize. You didn't deserve this, this unprovoked attack. Brandon asking what's in the drink because people want to know. Billy asking about the stadium shows. And Kayla asking about Ronda and Yoanna.
Boom.
Those are the 3.
Congratulations.
I'll reach out on Twitter.
You're welcome.
That's it. We're done.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Maybe I'll see you at the event. Maybe I won't. We could only be so lucky. You can hit my music, Rob. It has been a fun show. Thank you very much to Toyo Tires. Whoa, coming in there hot. Coming in there hot. Thank you very much to Toyo Tires for all their support today. We appreciate them very much. ToyoTires.com/UFC. That's where you can learn more about our good friends over at Toyo Tires. So what a fun day it has been. In-studio guests, people showing up unannounced, all kinds of action. What a fun way to kick off UFC 217 Fight Week. It is here. The return of George St. Pierre. Finally. Remember, it was on this show that he came out of retirement. And it was on this show that he said, you know what? I'm a free agent. And then it was on this show after he signed the contract to fight Michael Bisping. He came on. He talked to all of you. This is our fight, my friends. Love it. Leave it. Hate it. Whatever the case may be. This time next week, will George St. Pierre be the middleweight champion of the world? Wow. Could you imagine that? Will Cody Garbrandt still be the bantamweight champion? Will Yoanna Jacek still be the strawweight champion? So much to discuss next week. I can't wait, but we have a lot to get to this week. Wednesday, we've got the open workouts, media day. Thursday, we've got a press conference. Much going on here in the epicenter, and the best part about it all is that I don't have to get on a plane and cover it. This is the best part about New York finally legalizing MMA. I want to thank everyone who stopped by today. As far as the guests are concerned, I want to thank all our viewers at home. Appreciate you so much. Thanks for all the love. Thank you very much to Chris Holdsworth. Great stuff from him. Enlightening stuff. Good luck to him, of course, on Saturday. Thank you very much to Mike Perry. Thank you very much to Darren Till for stopping by. Thank you very much to Jorge Masvidal. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Derek Brunson. Thank you very much to Alexei Oleinik for stopping by. Thank you very much to Mark Hunt. And, of course, thank you very much, and congratulations to the one and only Colby Covington. Back next week, same time, place, same place. Somebody out.